some of us, or most of us, can't help the way we feel because we probably had a rotten experience in life that screwed us up and made us feel certain ways, and life beat us with the wrong end of the stick or the belt and left us scarred, and we feel very sour towards anything in life, and we have a hard time opening up towards any positive experiences. And once those come along, we're like closed up because we're afraid that if we open up, it's just going to be another advantage to take more digs in whatever areas are left in our hearts that still feel vulnerable, and we don't want to open those doors to anybody, and we just close ourselves off. That is a possibility. Also, we might be judging others and not being open towards the experience that others may bring to us in a positive or a negative, and we're just observing how others have acted in our lives. Like, let's be honest, most of our experience, how we interact with one another, is based on what others have done to us, what we have experienced by other human beings. We tend to go to the negative route in terms of that. Like, we go, well, I don't trust you because my life experiences have taught me that this is bad because this guy did this wrong with me. This is not necessarily the same type of example, but I want to read on the Gospel of John, chapter 21, verses 20 to 22. So Peter turned around and saw the disciple Jesus loved following them. The one who had leaned back against Jesus at the supper and asked, Lord, who is the one who's going to betray you? When Peter saw him, he said to Jesus, Lord, what about him? If I want him to remain until I come, Jesus answered, what is that to you? As for you, follow me. Now, again, the context here is not necessarily what we're talking about, but it still kind of relates because Jesus had a relationship with each individual of his group in the 12. Now, Peter and John were part of the core three, which was Peter and James and John. They were the core three that was always going around with Jesus. They were like the inner circle with Jesus. So for context sake, Peter was just talking with Jesus. Jesus restored him, asking the 3 times, do you love me? So this conversation on that end just happened. So the context is that Jesus told him, follow me. And as Peter was walking, he noticed that John is following on. I mean, if you don't get who they're talking about, is John. John is trying to be like humble, so he's not mentioning himself. So he adds all these little extra criteria so you know who he's talking about. But it's about him, the same author that wrote the gospel. So Peter is like, well, okay, you called me. Why is this dude following? And we got to understand, each walk is individual, but some of us are heading towards the same direction. And we shouldn't feel some type of way of how God uses an individual here or there. You don't know their whole story. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know or understand what the deal is.